You are always so proud and loud about your roots, and one of the things, I don't know how much you know about Atlanta, but it's one of the most like.
Oh, tell me, girl. This is hometown.
One of the most special places on earth.
Yes.
For so many reasons, but I will say a lot of us, for many reasons, don't understand our worth. Because of people that have come into our environment and showed us or told us that we didn't have much. But I always try to remind everybody from Atlanta how much just being from here, even, and y'all know we love people who move here too. As long as they don't clog up the highway. That even if you're here just for a little bit, we embrace you and we take you in because our culture is so strong and we're so influential, and sometimes we just don't know what our worth is being from here, knowing what we know. We don't know how special it is. Like you said, the slang that we speak, the lemon pepper wings wet, like all of these things that are ingrained in us. And I think it's very important for you to tell us how you keep Ghana so close to your heart and use it in business now, and you know what it's worth. You're not trying to hide it, and I feel like we don't have to do that voice on the phone anymore. You know the voice.
Right. No, the voice. The code switching.
You know, now people are hiring you because you sound like you're from Atlanta, and because you're from Atlanta, and because you can get somebody else from Atlanta on the phone for all of these reasons. So I would love if you could reiterate to everybody who's sitting here that's from my city right now how important it is for them to value themselves and to be themselves when they get in the room, not being somebody else to get the job, and when they get in the room.
Yeah, well, I think it's just that first of all, yes, of course, we have to recognize the importance of who we are, and that comes as part of the confidence, that comes as part of the understanding your worth and understanding what you contribute, because there really is, it sounds so pithy to say, but there really is no one like you. Like, there really isn't, and when you really understand that, you really embrace it, and you really celebrate it, you walk differently. You walked into rooms differently because you realize that no one can do it like you do it. And so therefore you feel and you project that feeling, and people embrace that. It's like when I got to Uber, for instance. This was one of the jobs where nobody told me to go get that job. You know what I mean? For good reason. I had two offices, okay? One in Cupertino, one in LA. All right, so very comfortably. And I won't spare you that story, but I then took a job at Uber. And a lot of people, again, the people who care about me, said things like, what they say about that place. They're not kind to black people, they're not kind to women. Like, I don't know why you're going there. You already won at Apple. Like, why don't you just stay there and keep rising in the ranks? And the thing is that, when I looked at the business of Uber and understood where it was going and its potential, first of all, as a marketer, I was like, there is no greater challenge. And I know that if I win that, then the crown is really mine. And I knew that from a business standpoint. Now, I also know that I'm the best damn marketer in the world. And so I was like, really doesn't matter if I'm black or a woman, I just happen to be the best. And there's no one else who can do the job as well as I do it. So when I walked into that office, yes, I was in full Ankara from head to toe, okay? Had on my print. Actually, I think I actually had on a sweatshirt that day that had the Africa map on it. Because I heard that they wear sweatshirts up there, so I was like, well, let me wear a sweatshirt, And it was red, and I had my red lipstick on, and I had my braids down to my ankles, and I was like, hello, I'm your new CMO. But the thing is that, walking into that environment, if I hadn't had the confidence to understand that my experience as a black person, my experience as a woman, my experience as a black woman, my experience as a mother, my experience as a widow, my experience as a bestie, my experience as a fashionista, my experience as a music connoisseur, my experience as a foodie, my experience as a traveler, all of those things were uniquely qualified, or made me uniquely qualified for the job. There's no one else on earth who has the combinations of skills and experience that I have that could do that job in this way at that time. And so for me, I walked in knowing that. I walked in with that confidence. And therefore, anyone who had anything to say about my ideas or how we should do it differently, I was like, oh, word? Yeah, okay, you can have a seat right over there because this here moment is mine and I'm going to arrange this. And really, I think that and this goes back to some of the allyship and what I've been talking about with, like, you know, support systems. Because even though I have that confidence and I know that, without the cheerleading and without the support of my community, my mentors, you know, people who I really call upon to help me get through some moments, I would not have made it. I really wouldn't have. And it really took a lot. You know, it was a big personal toll. You know, some of my friendships suffered, some of my relationships suffered because of the pressures of what I'd been through at Apple and then at Uber. And it was those people who were constant, you know, who stood by, who said, okay, listen, just keep going, you're gonna do this, you're gonna conquer it, you know, that made, and you know, nobody can hype you like a black woman can hype you, you know what I mean? And so my girl group, my sister group, who were in my messages, you know, my group texts, who were like, yes, okay, today is the day, go out and get it, how you look today, send me a picture of your outfit, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of support was also what then rallied me to be able to go into these rooms. And also, yes, to celebrate my blackness and not to shrink it. Celebrate my Africanness and not to shrink it. You know, I mean, I think it's so amazing that right now there's a heat happening in Africa. Because, you know, for a long time, there was a lot of shame about it. I happen to now have a really close relationship with the president of Ghana, and he says one of the things that I think for all black people, the diaspora in the Americas, in Europe, in Central and Southern America, everywhere, that we really need to pay attention to. He says that until Africa is respected, no person of African descent anywhere will be respected. Told to us 400 years of slavery. 2019 marks 400 years of the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, and there are lies that were told to us that we still perpetuate today. Yeah. You know, this idea about our differences. You know, it's so crazy to me to think that, you know, if you consider yourself African American, or you consider yourself British Black, or you consider yourself African, that somehow you're not all sharing the same experience in this world. That's crazy. It's like, do you think that people look at us and see us differently? No. So why would we look at each other differently? Those were lies that were told to us. Remember? To like separate us? Yes. And to cut us down? Right. Divided we fall? Yes. So let's unite. You know, it's really, this time is ours. Africa must rise, and we must be the ones to rise it. Things that are happening, and now I'm going to go on a little tangent, so excuse me, but no, a good friend of mine is an actress. Her name is Cynthia Erivo. Yes. She is a very talented British Nigerian actress who has won an Emmy, a Grammy, and a Tony.
Yes. Come on, back.
All right. All right. She is going to star as Harriet Tubman. Yeah. November 1st, the film comes out. Okay? There are two things that I want to say about that. One is that we must go out in droves. Yes. Like come on now. This is a story about a black woman who plays a lead, who is a central figure. We have to make sure that this film succeeds. I am currently sitting in Hollywood as a CMO of Endeavor, and I know what the conversations are like in the room. I know what happens when we talk about what audiences are going to watch. I know what happens when we compare films to each other. I know what gets greenlit and what doesn't. We have to support the film. Even if you don't go see it yourself, buy the ticket anyway. And when you buy the ticket, make sure it says Harriet on the stub. Yes. Tell your friends to buy it. If you can afford it, buy a theater and give it away.